A thank you goes out to Geek Fuel for sponsoring this video. Geek Fuel sends out monthly mystery boxes stuffed with all sorts of goodies, and for a limited time they're offering some extra goodies for HelloGreedo followers. The extra goodie is a nifty Star Wars bonus pack worth $30. Simply use the link in the video description below to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, on with the show. A brief history on the creation of Stormtrooper armor. Movie magic. In 1976, Andrew Ainsworth was manufacturing his own products using plastics and composite materials. The industry was fairly new, there wasn't much out there, so Andrew built his own plastic molding machinery. He had a 15-foot long mold that he used to make plastic kayaks, and even used to make plastic fish ponds. This is, from what I can tell, primarily what he was doing at the time. Nick Pemberton was a scenic artist and a puppeteer who lived a few buildings down from Andrew Ainsworth. Pemberton was hired to make helmets and other necessary props and whatnot for this new Star Wars movie thing. According to OriginalStormtrooper.com and Pemberton's diary, the only person Pemberton had any contact with at first was George Lucas. There was no one else associated with the costuming on the film at this time. On January 6, 1976, Pemberton met with George Lucas to go over the design of the Stormtrooper costume. John Mallow, a British costume designer, was a part of the team at this point. Armed with Mallow's sketches, Pemberton got to work. Pemberton created a red clay mock-up of his idea for a Stormtrooper helmet, but when it came to actually making wearable armor, the production designer John Barry wasn't quite sure how it could all be done. That's when Pemberton remembered his kayak-making plastic neighbor, Andrew Ainsworth. Pemberton liked what he saw in Ainsworth's plastic molds and thought he would be the right man for the job. Pemberton was told by Lucas to get started. He had no order form, no contact information. He was basically just told to make a Stormtrooper. So, Andrew Ainsworth set out to make a mold. He talked about the process of creating the Stormtrooper helmet. Quote, "I made no sketches, no models, no engineering drawings. I sculpted the production molds directly using my own blends of resins, fillers, and metal dusts. The production molds were the sculptures. They were positives, negatives, and reverse engineered. They incorporated undercuts and tumble homes and produced a molded finished article that caught the highlights and shadows of an organically formed being. It wrapped around the body as if it had grown." Close quote. On February 17, 1976, Pemberton met with George Lucas at Elstree Studios to show him the final prototype of the Stormtrooper helmet. It was a success. Lucas ordered 50 Stormtrooper helmets. So once again, Andrew Ainsworth got to work, molding 27 of the helmets out of HDP, and later made the rest using ABS plastic. If you look closely at the helmets in A New Hope, they're all a bit wonky, a bit different from one another. HDPE material was difficult to mold, creating shrinkage and distortion, while the ABS plastic was easier to mold, but at the same time it was more fragile. Most of them did not survive. On a personal level, my favorite helmets out of any of the Star Wars films are the A New Hope Stormtrooper helmets. There's a charm to them. They're individually unique, made in haste on a shoestring budget, trying to figure out how the hell to make it all come together. It makes for a good story, the creation of something incredibly iconic that we all know and love today. All of the Stormtrooper armor and helmets in each of the 3 original trilogy films are slightly different. In A New Hope, the frowns were gray, and of course they were all beautifully wonky. In The Empire Strikes Back, the frowns were painted black, and in some cases the eyes were a bit widened. Many of the helmets from A New Hope were reused in Empire. For Return of the Jedi, a lot of new Stormtrooper helmets would have to be made, because there were only 12 remaining helmets that were used in A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. The newly manufactured helmets have a distinct narrow look to them. According to StarWarsHelmets.com, this is because the mold collapsed during the manufacturing process. So, there's a very brief molding origin story of what we all know today as the iconic Stormtrooper helmet. It's amazing what someone can do with a shoestring budget and a little ingenuity. And that's a big reason why A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie. It's the trial and error of creating the film. It's the unknown and invented ways to make special effects, costumes. I love it all. You can really see the movie magic. Thanks again to Geek Fuel for offering HelloGreedo followers an exclusive opportunity. If any of you guys are still wondering what to get someone for the holidays or wondering what you should ask for, definitely click on the link in the video description below to get started. They offer a bunch of different plans, a bunch of different options, and a bunch of different goodies from a bunch of your favorite franchises. HelloGreedo, out.
With you, it cannot be done.